Ranganathan, a backer of free speech. But clearly, Ananya doesn't deserve to be targeted for her religion, for saying what she has said.
No, absolutely. Good evening, Rahul. This is just shocking. I mean, the open threats, this kind of labeling, as you said, targeting, the dog whistling for Miss Ananya by terrorists and no other phrase for it, terror apologists. This is shocking. I mean, she denies, first of all, as you said, filing the FIR. But even if she did, she was only following the law, not pelting stones or blocking roads or burning buses like Islamists do when something offends them. I stand absolutely and resolutely with Ananya, even though as a free speech absolutist, I disagree with filing of the FIR if anyone does it. Ananya hasn't done it, but anyone does it. Also, I believe, Rahul, that sunlight is the best disinfectant, and it is better that these haters expose themselves. And as Napoleon said, never interrupt an enemy when he's making a mistake. But Rahul, here, if I may, just a couple of minutes, one needs to delve into the philosophical and psychological moorings of these repugnant actions. Let us be under no illusion. The situation is intractable. It hasn't changed for 1,000 years. Why on earth would it change in 10? We just have to accept demography is destiny. We have to accept what Ambedkar said, that the brotherhood of Islam is not the universal brotherhood of man. It is brotherhood of Muslims for Muslims only. That Islam is a closed corporation, and those who are outside the corporation, there is nothing but contempt and enmity. We have to accept what Rabindranath Tagore said, that Islam has distinct enmity against all other religions. That it is not just satisfied with observing its own religion, but is determined to destroy all other religions. That the only way to make peace with it is to embrace it. We have to accept what Karl Marx said, that for Muslims, the world is divided into two nations, Darul Islam and Darul Harb. Rahul, please understand, it is the duty of every practicing Muslim to help convert Darul Harb into Darul Islam. But while he is in Darul Harb, he is to follow Al-Taqiyya from the holy book. Quote, let not believers take disbelievers as allies except when taking precaution against them in prudence, 328. Or as Al-Tabari explains in Tafsir, quote, if Muslims are under infidels' authority, behave loyally to them with your tongue while harboring inner animosity for them. Now, India may be Darul Harb, Rahul, but inside it are already residing many small Darul Islams, and Kashmir Valley is one such place. You no longer have to follow Al-Taqiyya there. Must be what a relief for them. Love for Pakistan and the brotherhood is unabashed and in your face. Remember how Mehbooba Mufti wanted Sharia to be implemented with death by stoning as a punishment? Remember how cinemas are shut down in Valley? Remember how legislators openly, and one of the panelists here right now openly said Sharia is above Supreme Court and the Constitution. We have to accept this, Rahul, and bide our time until we slowly turn into Pakistan and Afghanistan. We surely will. There is nothing that can be done. You can condemn the fundamentalists, but they are only following the fundamentals. Please understand. And you dare not condemn the fundamentals. Remember, moderates populate the caverns, extremists the caves. Moderates wield the pen, extremists the gun. The belief of moderates provides the cushion for the extremists, Rahul. It's a lost battle. Religion forms the strongest bond, but it is the weakest adhesives. And the sooner Ananyas and Anands realize it, the better.
Yeah. Right. Dr. Ranganathan, you've talked about your own experience in public. It was a rude shock to the family, to all of us. We see you so often on television, and we were all shaken.
Good evening, Rahul. First of all, my real sincere condolences, at the passing away of the superstar. I'm really in shock, as all the other panelists are. And if I can, before I come to what you asked and comment on what Dr. Shetty correctly pointed out, I'd like to say that I've had a passing experience of meeting, Mr. Rajkumar, and I must concur with one of the panelists when she talked about how down to earth he was. I mean, my only experience of meeting him was we were sitting adjacent to each other in a Bangalore-Delhi flight, and this was many years ago. I didn't know him, who he was, and we were in the economy class, of course. But stewards came and requested him to come to the business class, and he refused. And then there were, of course, autograph hunters and selfie hunters. And then after I saw all that crowd next to him, I asked him, and then I got to know, when he was signing. And I said, I'm so sorry, I don't know you. And you know what he said? Well, I don't know who you are. So it's perfectly all right that you don't know who I am. Now, I'm not comparing, the Bollywood industry with the Karnataka one, but even extras would want others to know who they are. So in Bollywood, so this was the mark of the man. As to what Dr. Shetty said, he's quite right. I like to, in fact, Rahul, if I may take 30 seconds, show you this wonderful pie chart. If the viewers can see this, this is from the National Health Survey, which is taken every 5 years. And you can see two pie charts here. The one on the left shows the number of diseases that happened before liberalization, before 1990 in India. And you can see the red one is almost 65%.
Yep.
These are communicable diseases, neonatal diseases. And what you see right now, this was, of course, pre-COVID, so 2019, it's just shifted, it's flipped. So 30% were diseases that were non-communicable, and now it is 60%. And although what Dr. Shetty says is quite right, that we are genetically predisposed to 3 times more risk factors, but you see the lifestyle changes as India is growing richer, more urban, our lifestyle is changing, everything is changing in the last 30 years. The type of diseases itself that we are having is changed. But just to ask this question to Dr. Shetty, what he says is correct. I mean, I'm not doubting that. But the fact remains that right now, this is Indian Medical Association data, 50% of all heart attacks happen to Indian males who are 50 or lower. But in 1990, it was 28%. So obviously we were the same. Our genetic predisposition was the same. It hasn't really changed much. What explains, unless it is explained through lifestyle changes or diet changes, Dr. Shetty, what explains this drastic, almost doubling of the risk factor of 50 and below?
Definitely the lifestyle, there is no doubt about it. We have become a lot more sedentary, we have become a lot more obese, and a lot more people are turning out to be diabetic, and a lot more people are leading a much stressful life than they were 30, 40 years ago. So, and also the cigarettes, they play a significant role. Tobacco, there is a combination of diabetes and tobacco is a deadly combination.
Diabetes and tobacco, deadly combination. Viewers, look, no one wants to at this moment in time spread any panic, etc. But these are important words from people who have, been students of, Dr. Devi Shetty. Viewers, has been a student, really, has been a practitioner, and perhaps is most engaged with people who have cardiac problems. Dr. Anand Ranganathan himself has suffered a procedure. He suffered a cardiac arrest. Dr. Ranganathan, that came out of the blue. You didn't have, you did not go in for a echocardiogram or ECG or a cardiac CT angio at any point, and it just came out of nowhere?
No, I mean, it did come out of nowhere, but we used to get the annual checkups done. Of course, 2020 being the COVID year, we didn't get the checkups done then. But yeah, it was so totally out of the blue that I didn't know what was happening to me. I mean, I had never felt that pain before, angina and everything. And to be honest, now I consider I'm very lucky because my was 100% blockage of LAD, which is 12% survival chances. So every day is a blessing, but Dr. Shetty says is absolutely right. You have to get these tests done. Plus, I must add here that I was a smoker for 30 years. So, it was basically, I was ticking all the boxes for, a heart attack, and it happened. But of course, you learn from your mistakes, and now I'm not. But the fact is that, I'm very grateful to the doctors who treated me, and I'm here because of, what they did. So I'm thankful for every new day.
Ranganathan, Shaina NC, and okay, and let me also bring in Shailesh Pandey. Yes, Dr. Ranganathan.
No, first of all, very briefly, Rahul, 3 points I'd like to make. First of all, I'm absolutely appalled by Mr. Malik's relentless witch hunt against an officer. And as you said, you can comment on the case, you can comment on the mishandling of the case as Mr. Malik perceives it. And as Ms. Abha Singh has also, according to her, there is absolutely no case, So with due respect to her, I disagree, because as Ishkaran said, it was left to the judge of the lower court, be that as it may, to give bail or deny bail. And ultimately, it was the High Court that overruled, in one sense, what the lower court said. So this was a matter of not to be decided by Mr. Wankhede, but rather by judges. So when you are saying that, there is something hanky-panky or wrong in this whole case, you are actually commenting on the judiciary. You're most welcome to do that. But as you correctly said, the point is not on the merits of the case.
They could not
the point
prove
is
the conspiracy angle. They could not prove the conspiracy angle. The ASG had to say.
Miss Singh, I did not interrupt you.
And the lower court did not give bail.
I'm sorry.
The Bombay High Court order, which said that NDPS cases are non-bailable.
Let him finish.
So
he didn't interrupt.
Let us not go into the merits.
Okay, one second. Abba Singh,
Miss Singh, this is unfair.
Don't speak over somebody else. You can rebut. You can raise your hand just like Ishkaran Bhandari is doing, and you can rebut. But let Dr. Ranganathan make his point. He didn't interrupt you. He may not have agreed with you, but he didn't interrupt you. Yes.
Yes, thank you. All I was saying was to go, to Mr. Wankhade's religion, to how he conducts himself, to who his father was, who his mother was, to that forged, nikah nama, to the marriage, to the Hindu-Muslim angle. This is repugnant. How is all this related to the case? And as for Ms. Singh, who interrupted me by saying that, look, a public figure has to be above board. Let me ask her then, has she ever asked Mr. Nawab Malik or the NCP, why have they not wanted the Vora Commission report to be published in full about the criminal politician nexus? Do you not want Mr. Sharad Pawar to not to hide the Vora Committee annexures?
Can I come in now?
Yes, ma'am. Please respond.
Rahul,
it's a pertinent question.
Yes, you are talking now. You are going on to whataboutery. That what did it happen in Vora Commission? What happened in that? That is all.
No, I'm not. I'm sorry.
The issue is why
you were talking about probity in public life.
It is important, but he got reservation. He got selected into 2008.
No, madam, these are all claims. You are making them into facts. Now you can repeat them constantly.
No, don't divert.
No, 1 second. Why? No, hang on. There is a Vora Committee report. The Vora Committee report claims that there are a large number of politicians belonging to the NCP that have connections with the... 1 second, madam, with the underworld. If those linkages, should those linkages not be known? And wouldn't those
Miss Abba Singh respond?
Did he get selected?
Miss Abba Singh respond.
It's a legitimate question.
You wanted... Rahul, can I not be interrupted, please? We were having a very nice conversation.
Did he take quota?
We were having a very
don't
polite
believe in a conversation. So we have these problems because they believe in running down the clock, in eating up time, so the truth doesn't surface, and that's the problem. Now, we can't have a indisciplined debate here where people are speaking over each other. If someone is asking you a question, answer the question. You can say it's whataboutery, but if you're going to use that argument, you're obviously not doing justice to the question that is being asked. I'll tell you, how is a birth certificate? How is a birth certificate related to this investigation?
Rahul, can I please get 30 seconds?
So Mr. Malik is exempted from probity in public life.
Religion.
No, he's exempted from it. He can serve as a minister, but he doesn't need to answer if there are skeletons in his closet. If there are, that is, I don't know.
Let us get to the truth.
Anyhow, madam, let's not have double standards here. Let's not have double standards. You're being selective here. I'm not sitting up and defending Mr. Wankhede. I'm not defending Mr. Malik here. All I'm saying is we can't have two different yardsticks to judge an issue. You can't. If you're asking for probity from a public servant, well, there is another public servant who's making the same allegations. We need to know if his antecedents are clean. Otherwise, there is a problem.
Nobody's
Rahul, 30 seconds because I was interrupted.
Yes, Dr. Ranganathan, quick response. I want to bring in Shaina NC right after. Yes.
Yes, I hope Ms. Singh will not interrupt me because I didn't. Rahul, just 30 seconds. One, it's a bit rich of Ms. Singh to talk about whataboutery. I remember on your debate when we were talking about Azan being banned, she said, what about Jagrata? So these are the people who then talk about whataboutery, and I only brought in that issue of Vora Committee because it was Ms. Singh. You can replay that thing, what she said. She said a public figure must be probed. There must be probity in public life. So I said, if you consider bringing... Ms. Abba Singh, again you are interrupting. These are bad manners. I'm sorry, please. I did interrupt you. Please wait for 10 seconds. So my contention was, if bringing in someone's religion, Dalit, Muslim, marriage, nikah nama, according to me, saying is probity in life, then this is the mother of all probities.
Okay.
Where you have politicians and underworld nexus.
Well,
being
we've got to
stopped
apply the same
by a
principle.
political
Shaina,
party.
I want to quickly bring you in. Look, the reason these questions are being asked, if you believe people like Abba Singh and the Shiv Sena spokesperson,